Mr. Transformers 96 here with another end of the year ranking video. This time I'm going to be doing a Marvel Legends ranking of my top 5 most disappointing Marvel Legends figures. So I do 3 Marvel Legends ranking videos a year, my top 8 best, top 5 worst, and my ranking of all the Build-A-Figures of the year from best to worst. So here in this video I'm going to be doing my least favorite ones. I love Marvel Legends and I love collecting the series. Every now and then there's some bad ones or just ones that are really plain and disappointing. And that's how it is every year. Overall though, I do a little less. I do, 5 worst compared to my 8 best, because it's harder to find bad ones than it is good, to be honest. So that's always a positive. Nonetheless though, bad ones do trickle in every year. I didn't buy every single Marvel Legends figure this year. I bought a lot of them, but not every single one. So of course, there are certain ones that are not on this list that maybe should deserve to be, but I'm just purely, of course, going based on the ones that I picked up this year. So let's get started. And in 5th place, we have the game version of Captain America from the Joe Fixit Build-A-Figure wave. This is a figure that just personally not like needing a game version figure of him, but that's just me personally. Figure itself, I do love the fact that it's a new sculpt. That's really cool. But it's not great, especially in the torso. The torso is just such like a cylinder. It looks very strange. There's not a lot of definition there. It just looks like literally like a perfect cylinder for the torso, which gives him a weird kind of boxy look. And I'm not a fan of the shield at all. The shield is from the back. It's just a plain like plastic gray, and it's kind of so weak that the red from the back of the shield is like bleeding through on the rim of the back, which is just annoying. So it doesn't clip on very nice. Instead of being straps, it's a clip, which if the figure had like just a clean forearm, it would still work, even though I just prefer straps in general. But since he's got so much stuff on his arm, it doesn't clip on well, which is annoying too. So overall, just in general, pretty disappointing figure. And in 4th place, we have Elena from the Crimson Dynamo Build-A-Figure wave. This figure is, it's okay. It's got some okay things about it. Again, I do like the fact that it's kind of a new sculpt. It's interesting that 3 of the 5 of these figures on this list are new sculpts, but it's not a great one. So it's a new sculpt. The head sculpt, though, I don't think is great. As far as the wave, the wave's head sculpt, or head sculpts just in general, were just kind of okay. And I think Elena is the worst of them, though, which is why she makes it on this list. The torso is also very strange. It gets way too thin when it comes to the lower portion of the torso, which gives her an odd look. Just overall, so it's kind of like opposite of the Captain America on this list, and then it just kind of looks like a plain figure. I don't like the colors on it either, and I know that they're going for the movie look, so it's hard to fault them, but it just looks weird when the torso is a really dark color and then just the limbs are like light colors. It almost looks like it's a mix and mash type of figure where you can build your figure with your own arms and body and legs and stuff, and it just looks like the torso doesn't go with the body because of the color and its strange proportions, especially towards the bottom. And then top it off with a head sculpt, it does make it on this list. And taking that 3rd spot, we have Jocasta, or the Bride of Ultron, however you pronounce her name, from the Joe Fixit Build-A-Figure wave. This figure overall, character-wise, was kind of intrigued with it when it was first shown. I wanted to get it, but getting it in person was disappointing. There are several pieces that are just reused from your standard kind of female body sculpts. The torso itself is a new sculpt, which is nice, but the paint isn't great. And I like the idea of the paint, because it basically is like a dark kind of silver with a lighter silver on all the detail pieces. But because it's so the same color, it does look a little plain, and it's not painted particularly well. The diamond detail in her torso has the brighter silver really bleeding into it, which just looks cheap and bad. And when it's such a basic kind of color scheme, I would expect at least to have the paint be applied nicely, because it's in very simple spots. So it's just a shame when there is such blatant quality issues that are pretty easily avoidable with this type of sculpt. Alright, and then the silver place we have the Velocity Suit Spider-Man from the Demo Goblin Build-A-Figure wave. This is an figure. This is another kind of game figure on this list. And it's a new sculpt again, which, you know, I'm all for new sculpts as long as they're good ones. But same issue with the other two new sculpts on this list is that the torso looks so freaking weird. I don't know what it is. It's like elongated. I think it's too long. That must be it. It's just got a strange look about it. He looks like it looks like he's too bulky up top, almost like they were going to do like a bulky, you know, kind of broad shoulder type of design in the torso, but then they didn't give you the broad shoulders. They went with the little tiny shoulders, so it just looks so weird. I'm just not a fan of the overall design of this sculpt. I do love the detail in the sculpt. Like, I think that the line work is really good, and then the paint's okay. I'm not huge on the paint, but it's okay. Like, I like the fact that they went like kind of a glossy red, and then a dark blue with the light blue, you know, makes the light blue line work really pop. But when, you know, you're accentuating a really kind of poor sculpt, in my opinion, he looks awkward. He's got kind of big thighs, even though the body gets very thin towards the bottom, so the kind of larger thighs look a little odd, and then the body gets really big at the top, but has small little shoulders, which makes the top look really odd. So it's an odd sculpt that I think definitely could have used a new design. And my most disappointing Marvel Legends figure of the year does have to be Sue Storm, the Invisible Woman from the Skrull Build-A-Figure wave. This figure is just overall quite disappointing. They use kind of an older female body sculpt, which I thought was an odd choice. There's two new pieces on her, which is the head sculpt and the feet. The feet are not super stable. You can get her to stand, but just she's not very stable in any kind of position. Head sculpt-wise is okay. It's a little plain. I think that the eyes are a little too far apart, and on my copy in particular, it has little blotches on its chin, which just looks really bad. The hair, I think, is okay. I think it's weird that it's like they almost were going to do a windswept, but just kind of swept it on both sides instead of doing it like to one side to show the direction of the wind. So I think that that's an odd choice. It just, the sculpt, I like the detail in the sculpt, but I just think that the position of the hair is really odd. And then there's nothing that represents her power. She looks very basic. No kind of hand creating a force field, like actually like showing a force field coming off, nor like an interchangeable, you know, elbow that's like invisible or something, like elbow to the hand that's invisible. Just nothing. It makes it a very bland figure. You know, the Human Torch figure at least came with some fire accessories. It's like giving him with no fire accessories. It's just kind of like, well, really kind of pointless now. So it's a little disappointing. And then the chest symbol, the Fantastic Four logo, is like a sticker. Really wish that was actually like a sculpted piece of detail. That would have been really cool too. Would have made the figure feel a little bit new. But unfortunately, the 90% of it's reused, and the new pieces are not that good. So it's just overall pretty disappointing, and just definitely, in my opinion, my most disappointing Marvel Legends figure of the year. Alright, so there you go. There's my top 5 most disappointing figures of the year. This is kind of an interesting style list because it has a lot of like completely new sculpts. I'd have to rewatch some of my older videos from years past, but I don't think that happens much at all. I think that the majority of the time something I'm complaining about is the fact that it's a basic sculpt. It's just kind of a repaint, you know, with like a new head. So for the fact that 3 of the 5 figures are 100% a new sculpt is kind of disappointing, because it's like, well, they should be guaranteed to be at least at the bare minimum kind of new and interesting, but unfortunately they're just not the best sculpts. They all 3 of them have torso issues, and then you have 2 figures that are very plain and that, you know, kind of miss the mark on simple tasks. So there you go. That's my top 5 most disappointing Marvel Legends figures. Let me know what you guys think of my choices. I'd also love to hear your guys' choices, and thanks so much for watching.